Hello, everyone. I did go inside the church very quickly, and it had in the center the round part, which has 4 windows, and then it had no painting, no design, just all rock, all very basic, not very colorful. There were cross chairs, and they were getting ready for a sermon, and they had pictures across the front area where the altar is, and then they had a colorful, well, not colorful, but artistic pew pulpit that was along the side, and it was like a stairway, but a spiral stairway up to the top towards the ceiling where the preacher will stand and speak. And so for him, it was very articulate with this engraving in the wood. So that was the prettiest part of it all. And then the walls themselves were similar as what you see on the outside, just that dark rock. And then the pictures, a few pictures when you walked outside, 3 right by the exit. There was an open area for walking, and then the exit to the door. And it had the cross of Christ, and it had a couple other pictures to go with it, but not so much of seeing Mary. You know how you see with the Catholics, the Virgin. There was not a lot of pictures of the Virgin. And so for that, that was a surprise because this is a Catholic church. But they did have, for the church, not a lot of candles, but they had at where the altar is, no Last Supper, no crucifixion, but just pictures of individuals. One may have been Mary, but there was no picture of her with Jesus, because there was one lady picture, and then there was the rest of them, but they were not the obvious pictures of Jesus, one riding on a horse or the cross or all these other things. So it could have been pictures also of their popes, previous people that had been pastors over the church. I don't know everything, but it wasn't the typical pictures that I found in Europe, because most of them had the Mary with Jesus and had pictures of the cross. But this was just basically pictures. Now, maybe there were pictures of Paul. That could be a thought too, since this is to be Paul's church. But it's not the one church that I had looked and read about on the internet. Somebody was saying this was it, the Pillars of Paul, that he actually started the church here. But that message that I just read in front of the ruin was saying that this was a 4th century church. It was not the 1 AD church. So who knows, maybe I will come back to Pafos. As I'm going over to where the apartment is, there is another place where Paul visited, Salamis. And so with the city of Salamis, that may be the place where the 1 AD church is at. God is in control, and I'll find out when I get over there. And if it's meant for me to come back to Pafos to find that 1 AD church, because they are out and around here, then I may find it. Perhaps it is going to be in Turkey also, because Turkey has Mount Ararat, Noah's Ark, but it has a lot of ruins that are underneath in the caves from the persecutions, and thousands of people had lived underground. So that may be it too. I don't know, but I know God does. So when I get over, I'll go and find out in Turkey. But right now with Cyprus, that God bless, because I'm so close to this beautiful ruin, and I have about 45 minutes to get me over to the other location, and to get my bus to the other location. So I'm going to go for now, church. God bless you.